Because the statistics tell us that 65% of businesses that go out of business, if you were to look at their customer service cards, they would have 65% of them would have 100% satisfied customers. Why are they out of business? Obviously, satisfied doesn't mean great. So there's like always room for improvement.
I get these calls, and I keep going back to the same kind of thing because I think it's one of the dilemmas that every business needs to solve. I'm not going to say make eye contact. I mean, that's like so basic. If your customers can't make eye contact with the customer, you really have a problem. I'm thinking about a phone call. I get phone calls, and they get through to me somehow. They find the director. They want to sell him something. How are you? I'm like, what is it to you how I am? I mean, I'm busy. I'm busy, and you're annoying me. That's how I am. On the other hand, if they could tell me why I need their product quickly, I'd be happier. Just say, do you need, I'm represented, I need something. Where does this come from, this thinking that we're all going to be falling for the idea of they really care about me? Because aren't we a little cynical when we get a cold call?
Well, yeah. I mean, we know that the person is probably reading it off a piece of paper, and the minute you get them off track, they really don't know what to say. And you're right. If I had an experience buying, was it Time Life? Time Life on television, where they have all of the
and they often have good products.
They have great products, and they have all the music.
Right.
And so I got this really great guy on the phone, and he said to me, I'm from Time Life, and I have music to sell. And that was kind of like, oh, okay. And he said, do you like? And all of a sudden he starts in, and then the minute I said I like that, he said, oh, then do you remember? And it was like he and I had this great conversation. I thought to myself, oh boy,
he's good.
He's really good. Now I have to tell you also, I did make the purchase. I got another call 3 months later. It said, hey, what do you think of the stuff you bought? Different person. I thought, what do you mean? They said, well, you bought the Time Life, and we've got more. What did you like best about it? And if you behave that way, you also have to always remember you don't know what kind of response you're going to get. But you have to take a shot.
Right.
Right? Because you're building a connection.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, they can't expect everybody to respond positively. They might get 99 people not responding positively, but at least don't turn off the 1% that you might have sold to by being, I don't know what the word is right now, but when they
canned?
sound so, canned and insincere and overdoing it.
Yeah, I mean, to call up and say to somebody, I have a product I think you might like. I don't know if you will or not, but this is what I'm selling today. Now, you might even listen to that just because it's different.
And I'm going to give you 15 seconds. You better get it out quickly, what you're selling.
You get these calls, and I even get them on my cell phone now. 8 o'clock in the morning. Hello, is this Lisbeth? Well, who else? You've got my number right. They all, just like you said, all of a sudden I already know,
Right.
And how's your day going? You're right.
It was great until now.
Right. It's an assumed, I think what we don't like is assumed familiarity.
Thank you. That's good.
Is that it? It's
yes,
assumed familiarity, a canned pitch, and not being able to have a sense that I'm annoyed. You sound like you're in a hurry. Yeah, I'm in a hurry. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Is there a better time to call you back? Let me just tell you what I have. You think you'd be interested? And to get a sense if the customer...
I'd probably say yes.
Right. If the customer speeds up, you speed up. If the customer is annoyed and with a louder tone of voice, you can raise your tone of voice. You don't have to sound loud, but understanding that whatever pitch I'm at is where I want you to be. I don't want you to say, hey, calm down. Things will be good. No, they won't be. This is the way I am.
Right.
Don't try to make me something different.
Yeah.
So it's that whole canned pitch. It's an assumed familiarity. If you want to build some familiarity, you have to talk to me and you have to ask me about myself. And, it's always about me. It's never about you.
It's true.
We're all about ourselves. So I say a great salesperson knows and picks up something interesting about the customer, finds something of commonality that we can discuss. I call that customer service.
Beautiful, yeah.
Because if you don't do that part, I don't want to buy from you.
I think we got it now. I feel better. I feel much better about it.
Better? Good.
Let's try a different way. I've been kind of leading on from my own problems with salesmen. Have you noticed some mistakes that businesses have made that are fairly common in terms of customer service?
I think I think part of it's the familiarity. Like, how are you doing today? Well, I first of all, I've moved away from you, which means I don't really want to talk to you. And you keep trying to move closer to me. Rather than saying to me, wow, you seem like you're in a hurry, or what are you doing in town? I really think that because times are a little tight or challenged, whatever you want to call them, business owners are nervous. They're not making as many sales as they've made before, so they really push their salespeople. Don't let the customer out of your sight. Make sure you show them everything. And so I think as consumers, we're really aware of that. And we feel that pressure to move away. At least that's what that's what I feel in stores. Like they have to sell me something. It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And that's the impersonal piece. And there's really opportunities these days to build a customer base and to get more sales. But it's not through terrorizing or doing all these things that we did that worked years and years ago when there were no products and I couldn't go anywhere. You had the only game in town. It's not like that anymore. I was just thinking this morning, where do you go buy a quart of milk? You could go to the gas station.
Anywhere.
You never could go to the gas station, but you could go to the gas station. You could go to the Stewart's. You could go to the supermarkets. You can go any place.
So I don't really need to walk from the front of the super store to the back corner to get the milk. That's true. I might not even go to that big store because the milk is so far away, whereas maybe if they'd switch that. I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm not recommending it. It just occurred to me that I often go to convenience stores because I know how far the milk is in the other store away from me.
Well, you're absolutely correct. So the person who goes to get the quart of milk just wants the quart of milk. I mean, there's something what they call a convenience store, and probably that's what it means. Things are right.
They responded to that already.
Right. They're already there. But you go to the supermarket, and what they hope is that by the time you get to the milk, I mean, it's like a quadrant all laid out in a certain way, and by the time that you get there, maybe you find something else that you really, really like. And it's funny about supermarkets. I think they really miss the boat in not being a whole lot friendlier. Like we talk about the size of stores, like big boxes, and small stores will say, oh, you can't get any service in Home Depot, and you can't get any service in the Lowe's. Well, they're wrong about that. What you can get is a friendly person, a person whose job, and I did a lot of training for Lowe's. I used to help them open up stores when they were first building in the late 80s, early 90s. I would help them open up stores. I did a lot of executive training for Home Depot, and they're taught to be nice.
I think that both of those stores are great. The problem with them is they have to overcome the economic problems of how many people can we afford to have in the store. But once you get them, I find both Lowe's and Home Depot, they're very many friendly people and helpful.
Yeah, and that's part of the teaching, is to build a rapport with the customer. In a small retail store, usually the owner says, get them. I mean, you got one. I was in the retail business for 14 years with 7 stores. There's your customer, sell them something. But if you're smart, what you do is, and a person who owns a business knows that rapport is the most important thing. Because if I like you, what I want to have happen as a store owner is I want that person to come back and say, no, nobody else can wait on me. There's only one person who can wait on me. Where is she? I've got to talk to Liz. But in supermarkets, they're so impersonal. I mean, if it were my supermarket and I was in the produce department, you'd come to the produce and you'd pick up something and I'd say, what are you going to cook with that? And I go, well, gee, I don't know. Well, you know what? We've got some recipes over here. Now, of course, he's on a schedule. He's got to unpack all the boxes. But I think to myself, if they would build a better connection with the customer, I would buy more.
The other thing, I go back to that again because it's my shtick, eye contact. You don't know what the person is thinking. You don't know if they need help. You don't know if they want to be left alone. If you don't look at them.
You're right.
And most of these guys with the trucks full of food, they're going through there and you're worried they're going to run you over.